All right, thanks for staying with us on News Hub. Now let's talk about our dear country, Nigeria. Where are we? I remember the song of late Sonia Colson's Which Way Nigeria, and that song sung over 20 years ago still resonates with everyone. You said that 30 years ago? It's been a very long time. I mean, those lyrics still resonates with the things we're experiencing as a people today. Joining us in this conversation from our Abuja studios is Honorable Jeff Ojinika, a former member of the House of Representatives. Honorable, we thank you so much for being part of the program today. If you can hear us, good morning. Thanks for joining us on the program. All right, he has to connect with us in just a moment. You've just sighted his face. Hope he joins us in just a bit. Ben, I want to imagine you know the lyrics of the song sung by late Sonia Colson's Which Way Nigeria, Which Way to Go, I Love My Fatherland, I Want to Know Which Way Nigeria is heading to. And I guess that's what those questions are still on the minds of many Nigerians today who don't seem to really understand government policies with regards to our present day realities and needs and wants as a people. So I want to imagine that such questions still are on the minds of a lot of Nigerians today. We'd like to hear from you. Join us on our social media handles as we also speak with Honorable Jeff Ojinika right now. Honorable, once again, so nice to have you on our program.
Yeah, thank you. And before I comment, my heart goes out to the victims of the Kaduna, call it mistake, or the bombing, that the program that you just finished now. Yes, my heart goes out to them, and I want to join numerous Nigerians to see, please ask the military to ensure that, and the government to ensure that we don't have a secondary death as a result of the first death. That means that the victims and their families must be well taken care of. Having said that, the state of the nation today is something that our founding fathers, people who struggled for us to have this freedom we're enjoying today, if they're around, the likes of Azikiwe, Awolowo, Ahmadu Bello, they will be turning in their graves, because this is actually not what they struggled for. The state of the nation today is the time that the level of insensitivity on the parts of people in government is something that baffles everybody. That in a nation where we removed the subsidy on petroleum, which is the only thing that Nigerians can say that they enjoy from the government, and the price of fuel had to almost triple. In the face of that the way the affairs of government is run is not in such a way that shows that people are making a lot of you've seen the budget released for the year, and you are seeing the breakdown, the analysis that people are making in the budget. It doesn't seem to reflect the expectations of the people. You see, as a nation, just as we run our different families, there are certain times you have set targets. Assuming you are interested in building a house, and you are starting at the foundation. At that point in time, what you need is cement and blocks and concrete. So at that stage, any expenses you want to do, you say, this thing, will it give me how many bags of cement? Or how many trips of sand will it give me? That's the kind of reasoning that we're expecting from the government of the day. They would have set up a target and say, we're about 200 million Nigerians. How many have access to health? How many have access to school? How many of our kilometers of roads kilometers of road do we need to tar? How do we make our airspace free? having said these targets, if there's any expenditure they want to, they will say, this amount of money, how many kilometers of road can he give us? For instance, they're saying about Vice President's house, Senate President's house, and these are national priorities now. They're not national priorities. They should have been thinking of how many kilometers of road can this give us? How many liters of water can this give to Nigerians? So these are the thinking. So, but you see, the whole state of the nation, the bane of our problem, I still try to take it down the Independent National Electoral Commission. They are responsible for what we're passing through today. Because if they make people's vote to count, then the people will matter. The government will be people-centric. But where people are appointed, selected, anointed, nominated into offices, they go there, they carry on the frolic of their own. But yesterday I was forced to request Nigerians. I say, please, whether people are appointed, whether they are anointed, whether they are ordained, whether they are imposed, that we will never give up. Nigerians must continue to clamor, advocate for good governance. You know all the rudiments of good governance. There must be transparency, there must be accountability, all those irreducible minimums in good governance. Nigerians must continue to demand and request for them, no matter whose horse is God, no matter who is in charge. Whether you elected the person or you didn't elect the person, whether you selected, we'll keep demanding for that. So that's the thing that we don't want Nigerians to be docile. A situation where everybody says, okay, they have been there, let them do whatever thing they want to do. No, we must keep requesting and demanding for. Just like I'm so happy that Nigerians are following the current budget. You see the debates going on in the... And the only thing we're expecting is that the National Assembly should be very sensitive to those issues that people are raising. Like if people are raising issues that there's no need for 15 billion for Vice President's house, the National Assembly should be to transfer such a money to road. 15 billion can give us how many kilometers of road? We know our national priorities for now. And I don't think issue of residencies of principal officers in government, they cannot be national priority for now. In a country where people have not eaten, such money can be taken to agriculture. So these are issues. I will keep asking everybody, both the media, everybody should continue to advocate for good governance and nothing more.
We needed for you to pour out your mind so that it would give us an overview of what you feel with regards to this administration. While some people would argue that most times when we come on television, we state the state of the nation and refer to the government at the center, that the subnationals also have a lot of work to do. And perhaps the fact that their inability to deliver could be held responsible for how much is left to desire in the way the country is governed. Is that your line of thought?
Well, what I can say for now is that the country is not well governed. There are basic rudiments of good governance. Transparency, efficiency, accountability, all these things are basic in governance. And you don't see them in the system that we are running, whether at the national, at the state, at the local. So the major thing right now is that what I have seen is that Nigerians are being governed like conquered people. And Nigerians have also taken it that they are also conquered. You see, the kind of thing we want is that, like, I saw a protest yesterday against the Minister of FCT. You see, those are the kind of things we expect from Nigerians. If anybody who comes and feels that that they are from heaven, and that people here are lesser beings, people should be able to say no. So that's the kind of thing I will want citizen participation. In fact, the only thing that can help us in the country now is citizen participation. We, on all issues, we do an opinion poll on them. Like we want all these budget issues now, like 15 billion on Vice President's house. There should be an opinion poll on it. How many Nigerians are in support of it? And you will see that more than 98% of Nigerians will be against it. And they will delete it. So, we are requesting for Nigerians to rise. Nobody should be docile. If we have a docile citizenship, that means this arrogance we are seeing amongst our leaders will continue.
Okay. Let me interject, and there's a reason for
so
this.
That's my take on it.
Less than 3 occasions.
And I want to enjoy
your thoughts that the country is not being well governed as we speak. Let me take it a little further. Would that mean that you're referring to the ability of President Bola Tinubu to really steer this country to the promised land? Is that what you're saying? Are you querying his capability to lead successfully the country to profit, the kind of profit that you expect in a democracy? Is that your clear line of statement?
You see, for the present government, I can tell you, they have a courage to do a whole lot of things. You see, readiness to govern is there. Like they didn't take time to appoint people into offices, vacancies. They're taking some bold steps. But the thing is that we need to get certain priorities right. The issue of removing subsidy had to be done with a whole lot of, there are a lot of things that should have been done before then. And then having done it, there are certain things that Nigerians expect from the government. They should scale down the cost of governance. And anything that doesn't fall within national priority should go out of the budget. But where are we? The way they are going about governance does not show that these are people. It looks like the people are suffering, the people in government are enjoying. And there is something that I want the government to get right. The issue, government should forget about this issue of going to look for investors. Please, you don't meet investors in trade fairs. You don't meet investors in those. Investors are very wise people. Investors go to places where their investment will be safe. So how do you do that? By making sure that the legal system in the country is strong. In other clients, people will go to Texas, go to Abu Dhabi, transact in oil, and they will go to UK to domicile their contract because the legal system there is right. But where are we today? Our legal system is in such a way that you cannot predict what a judgment will be. But in the UK, if you have a case, for 98% you can predict that this is the way this case will turn out to be because the laws are there. But here you cannot predict anything. Under a similar situation, this person may go in for it and another person will come out. You can't predict our laws again. In fact, our laws is now what the judges say it is. They turn it the way they want. Who will come and invest in such a crime? Who will come to invest in a crime where the law is not predictable? Nobody. So if the president is serious about having investors to come here, he should improve on our electoral process. Electoral process is key. Our judicial system will be seriously reformed in such a way that our cases, our laws, you can easily predict what will come out of a court process. So these are the things that you need to do, and they put infrastructure in place for investors to come. Instead of taking about, call it 400, call it 1,000 people to Dubai, that will not bring any investor. In the days of Okonjo and Obasanjo, there were a lot of reform bills. The fiscal responsibility, debt management bill, all those bills were targeted towards our debt relief. And when we had all those reform bills in place, that was a precedent that what led to getting the debt relief. Because in those days, Obasanjo was going for debt relief. They keep asking him the question, do you pour water into an empty basket? Nobody pours water into an empty basket. So that if they allow you to go with this money, you also go and pay far with it. But put a reform in place, and then we can now allow you to go with the money, because we're now sure that the money will be used for the citizens. So with the kind of system we are running, no serious person will come here for any investment. The only people that can come here to do business are criminals who are coming with arms or guns or something to steal away something from our economy. But genuine investors will run away from here. So you put a lot of reforms in place, put things on ground to show people that we really mean business. The kind of election that just took place in the last few days in Imo, Kogi, and Basa will not encourage any person to come into this climb to invest. So these are the things. So the earlier they get it right, the better. So instead of looking for investors where you can't see them, let them come here, do a good work here. By the time you do a good work, investors will look for you and come here.
About the state of the nation. I'd like to take a sword from what you said initially, that the problem of the nation is Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. But I'd like to ask you a simple question. INEC is an appointee of a particular president, the chairman of INEC, and then from ratification from the National Assembly to do their bid. Right from Humphrey Nwosu, who conducted the annulled June 12 election in 1992, down to Yakubu Dogara that just conducted the last one in 2023 elections that brought forth President Bola Tinubu to do their bid. And so saying is INEC, well, people may not agree with you because it is still the politicians. You've been there before, you've been in the House of Reps before, so you know what I'm talking about. But you give me this thought, and then you give your statement about it. Nigeria was doing well in the era of agriculture. And a school of thought said the cause of Nigeria stepped in 1956 when oil was discovered in Olobiri in our Bayelsa state. It is this oil that has taken us through this. Because of this oil, we had this particular refineries. Because of this oil, they went moribund. Even the subsidy we're talking about is this oil. We began to import a fuel. Now, all the men that are in power, they are good men at home because they have children, they have families. They are good men in the societies. But when they step into government, there's this deity they serve, and it's the wealth of the nation. As soon as they serve this deity, they are being clouded. They're being metamorphosed in thoughts, and they wouldn't do well. What's your thought on that our course started from when oil was discovered in Nigeria?
Well, oil is meant to be a blessing to Nigerians, but turned to be a cost to Nigerians now. All the countries that discovered oil at the same time, most of them had, developed and gone too far. But unfortunately, where are we today? So it has made us rather weak, docile, and then has also resulted in a lot of corruption in our system. when you get money that you didn't work for. So, but in other clients, they are using it to develop the agriculture, they are using it to develop their technology, they are using it to develop butter in our own. In fact, the worst of it all self is that the people from where you get the oil, the people who you explore the oil from their place, that they live in squalor, they suffer, they live in deprivation. In fact, Nigeria is, if not the other musician, it's a zaga zaga. So, but what do we do? I have kept saying Nigerians have to demand for good governance. Like you asked me about INEC, whether it's the politicians or the INEC. Once we improve on an electoral system and make sure that the people that get elected reflect the yearnings of the people, that's all. It could be anybody. But let it be that once they are there on behalf of the people, and they know that it's the people that put them there. Definitely, they will do things to please the people. But once you are there and you know that you are not there courtesy of the people, you are not interested in how they feel or how they fare. That's my take.
Well, because of time, let's ask you at this point in time your view of the present National Assembly, the 10th National Assembly as we speak.
The 10th National Assembly, I want to urge the current 10th National Assembly, they have come up with their legislative agenda, and I hope they will insist on those their legislative agenda. Nigerians are not too hopeful because of their process of emergence. But I want them to disappoint Nigerians that there will not be rubber stamp. You know, the 9th one was rubber stamp. I hope they will not continue in that. In such a way that they will interrogate issues. I'm happy that the Committee on INEC had come up with the reforms on how they will intend to improve on the electoral process. I also want the current budgetary process to be also transparent in such a way that only things that will benefit Nigerians for budget. More so when the money is going to be borrowed, a lot of borrowing. You don't just borrow and then go and waste the money on frivolities. So the current National Assembly have a duty to make sure that they don't disappoint Nigerians. Because if they do, it will be terrible. Some people are already through some videos are calling for one form of revolution or the other, one form of protest or the other, and things like that. So if they don't take care, there will be there Nigerians who will sweep them off their office.
All right, so we can move now to the people themselves. You as a Nigerian, you're speaking for yourself as a citizen, not necessarily because you're a former lawmaker. We hear that a former lawmaker is always a lawmaker. But then for an average Nigerian whose voice might not be heard, perhaps because the person is just like, they have to do what they have to do. What's your view of how far we've grown as a people after 63 years of independence? Not even, maybe not necessarily, or if you wish, even putting it at par with what governments across the board have been able to do before now, and then put it on what the government of the day is doing. The people themselves, what do you see us doing? How are we faring? Are we in a new dispensation of a realization of what's going on? Are we also following things through the best way that can get us the desired results?
I want to salute Nigerians. We have always had patrons, especially Nigerians in diaspora. They have been very wonderful. Nigerians in diaspora, Nigerians living all over the world, they have been very wonderful people. because the changes we're having in the country is as a result of them. The foreign direct investments we're getting is as a result of Nigerians in diaspora. So I want to urge them not to leave the country. I want to urge them to keep supporting the people at home. They've been doing that. They've been very wonderful. And then for the people at home, Nigerians have, if it is women, we have produced women who were patrons. We have the likes of Ekbos, the animal of Kutis. Please, we have Nigerians who are courageous. We have men who are courageous. We don't want the kind of docile citizens that we have now. Is not the type that brought us to where we are today. We need very active citizens to make the government of the day to sit up. Because if the citizens are docile, then the government will be complacent. That's my take. So,
when you said the citizens are docile, some Nigerians may not find that tasteful because they'll ask you that, look, there have been protests against how governments across board have been able to carrying out their activities, and they would also tell you that they've been able to get results here and there. So what would a citizen, let me say, what would a people that are not docile, what are they expected to do?
you see, today, as we talk in this country, there is more than 80% of the local governments in this country are not functioning. Almost all the governors divert the local government allocation. Almost all. And there's no person in this country that doesn't come from any local government. Why can't we, at our various local governments, start demanding from our local government chairmen or councillors what is happening to the local government funds? In my state, almost 4.5 billion comes in for local governments every month, and the money is filtered. And this is not just by 774 local governments. So why can't we demand? Why can't we start demanding from at least those are local government chairmen and councillors who can have access to them? We can't go to villa, we can't go to state houses, but those ones who can have access to them. Let us demand to know how these things are run. In a country where people cannot eat, in a country where children are dying out of hunger and poverty, oh my. Citizens of Nigeria should participate actively in the current budget process. And by the time they pass it, we'll be able to follow it up to know how they will implement the budget. It's not even after passing it, you go and keep quiet.
Okay.
So this is how societies develop.
Kindly line on your line of thought, sir. Honorable, kindly land on your line of thought. You were saying something.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, sir. Okay. All right, so let's say that right now, if you ask an average Nigerian, we'll go out all the time to speak to people, to feel their pulses and where they're headed. Perhaps the first top 3 issues they will complain about will be 1, hunger. People are very hungry at this point in time. 2, they will tell you that there are uncertainties around some issues that they would like to get clarity on. That will include policies the governments across board have been churning out. Maybe the third one would be the fact that they are looking for opportunities that can make them maximize their potentials. If you take a look at our economy, what is wrong? What can you see going wrong with our economy? Is this administration getting it right? If not, do you have any answers?
Well, the economy we're running is something, I don't know. You know, some time ago, the governor of Edo State said they were running a voodoo economy whereby they were printing money. They're printing money. So, and the situation where you run a budget of 27.4, recurrent takes almost a major part of it, and then debt servicing, and then you have little or nothing for capital project. It makes the whole thing very blurry.
This morning, but the music of Sanyo Kosun's Which Way Nigeria is very, very, apt today. All the lyrics, I mean, everything that you have in the song really expresses what we experienced in the nation over 2 decades ago that he released that song. Which Way Nigeria, Which Way to Go. I love my fatherland. I want to know which way Nigeria is heading to. I don't know how we got here, but we do hope that the governments across board do have answers to where we should be, and the citizens are also ready to do all that we must do to move this country to where the world can see us being, to what we're more than this, we're greater than this. I want to believe that we would get there someday.